A Louisiana man sits in a Nebraska jail awaiting extradition after a traffic stop near Plattsmouth. This story is from the Casgram. Terrence Key is 28 years old, and he was one of two people in a Nissan Sentra contacted by a Cass County, Nebraska Sheriff's deputy last night. He is wanted on a fully extraditable warrant out of Louisiana. He allegedly failed to appear in court on a weapons-related charge. He also was named on a Texas warrant for a weapons-related charge. He remains in the Cass County, Nebraska jail awaiting extradition proceedings.